This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by the Baltimore Ketamine Clinic.
Have you ever experienced the pain of watching a loved one suffer from depression, or maybe with the ideas of suicide, or maybe anxiety? It can feel absolutely helpless, especially when treatment after treatment seems to fail to fix the situation. We would like to introduce to you a different type of treatment this afternoon called ketamine. Ketamine is an anesthetic that was approved by the FDA like 50 years ago. It's safe, the results are very rapid, and with us this afternoon to tell you more about ketamine is Ivana Mitic and Michelle Ridgway of the Baltimore Ketamine Clinic, which, by the way, has a location here in Salisbury. Ladies, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having us.
So I've heard of ketamine. What is it? How does it work?
So as you mentioned, it is anesthetic, and it's been used for probably over 50 years. But in the last about 15 years, practitioners started offering it as a treatment for depression. There are a few ways or pathways where ketamine works, and one of the big ones is increasing dopamine levels. But the main thing chemically that we see is improved brain function and also growing more receptors on nerve endings, which then allows for better or proper brain functioning.
Okay, so who would you say would be a good candidate for this treatment?
Most of our patients that come to us are patients that have failed other treatments. So most of them have treatment-resistant depression. We also treat patients, and ketamine's been proven to help patients with PTSD, anxiety, and suicidal ideation.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you both are extremely qualified. How did you learn about this, and why are you so passionate about this?
So it is kind of a funny story how I learned about ketamine. I was working in anesthesia as a nurse anesthetist, and I started just hearing more about ketamine being used outpatiently. So in anesthesia, a lot of times when we would have patients who would come and they were opiate dependent, it was really hard to treat them with the standard opiates that we had intraoperatively. So ketamine was always a great addition to our anesthetic, but then it turned out that there were so many more people that needed it for depression and anxiety and mental health issues, and that's kind of how we developed into a lot more mental health care practice.
Okay, so you have seen personally the great effect that this has on people. Any particular stories come to mind?
Well, I would like to say, before Ivana tells hers, I would like to say that working in the hospital setting and working in the outpatient setting, you don't see the change as quickly as you do with the ketamine. It is amazing.
There is this one particular person who had left us in tears, and we really cheer him up. His son died by suicide. He had stopped eating. He was not really drinking much fluids at all, and he was starting to turn kind of gray, know. And I remember Michelle came in and she did the evaluation with them, and she walked out in tears. And then I went in and I talked to him and really tried to help him understand that he did what he could for his child. If there was anything else that he thought he should have done, he would have. But it was impossible to get through to him because he was just stuck in this cycle of, I'm a horrible parent. What if the same thing happens to my other child? It would be just better if I was not here, and at least he would give my other child a chance. So once I kind of tried not to argue, but I tried to show him a different perspective, and I just could not reach him. So at one point I said, you're right. Like, all your feelings are completely valid. And he started crying, and then everybody cried. And we did the infusion, and I reached out later to check on him. And his wife said, Ivana, he had dinner and he's playing with our son. And, we watched him progress through the 6 treatments and we do as an initial protocol. And it's been now months since we've seen him. And, he really feels the ketamine saved his life. And he was really on board with me sharing his story as well, because they really want to increase the awareness and just to know that there is help.
That is huge. Oh my God. Michelle, why does this work?
Most people will say it gives them a different perspective. Like
Okay.
we've had patients who have said to me, that was a difficult treatment. You know, it took me back to maybe somewhere that was difficult for them in their past. But that's what they need to get over. That's what their, you know, the anxiety could be all about.
Right.
Everyone has come back, of those patients who have said it's taken me to a place that was really difficult, has given me the same story afterwards. It's given me a different perspective. I do not give it the weight, you know, the problem, I don't give it the weight or the attention or the focus that I used to. I can look at it and say, okay, it happened, I'm putting it here, and I'm moving on with my life. So it's just, it's like magic.
Ladies, thank you so much for spending a little time with us this afternoon to share this, because that is absolutely fantastic. Ivana Mitic and Michelle Ridgway of the Baltimore Ketamine Clinic. Ladies, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.